Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Dubai, Season 1, Episodes 8 and 9, and yes, it is a double recap, and I have a lot to say about Caroline Brooks, because I thought that she was doing the most in both of these episodes, but I will say we did learn a lot more about her. And I have a lot to say about her and that ex-husband of hers, okay? But let's not jump ahead. Let's just get right on into it because we don't have a minute to spare. So we start off episode 8, right where we left off in episode 7, with Caroline Brooks and Sara going at it at Caroline Stanbury's engagement party in the desert. So Brooks tells Sara that Sara needs to own what she said and how Sara hurt her feelings and how she felt judged. Sara defends herself by saying that she wasn't judging Brooks and that that's not what she said. All she said was to show some more affection, not that Caroline Brooks is not affectionate to her son. So Brooks says, at the end of the day, I didn't ask you for your advice. And now Sara's like, look, I'm swearing on my son's life, I did not say what you're accusing me of saying. And it just felt like a circus at this point because neither of them was being heard. You have Brooke sitting up there screaming and hollering. Sara is like, I didn't say that. You're twisting my words up. They weren't getting anywhere in this argument. I was getting annoyed as a viewer just watching them go back and forth like this. And Brooks, you have got to learn a better way to communicate. I understand you're angry. Like, I get really heated and riled up too. But the constant interrupting, the constant, like yelling at her like that, it's just like enough. You really have to control your emotions a bit better. So Ayan goes over to break the argument up. She's like, come on guys, dinner's starting. Like, enough with all this. Like, let's just have a good time. So they all get up to go and get dinner. And Brooks is telling Lisa that she feels judged and she's really upset with Sara still. So Lisa says, when Brooks called me the other day, she definitely felt like Sara was judging her. So Sara says, she's taking what I said out of context because I was never judging her parenting skills. Now, in my opinion, I do feel like Brooks is going a bit overboard. I understand that maybe she was sensitive to what Sara said, but I don't think that Sara meant any harm. I was really screaming because Ayan said, when black folks invite you out to dinner, just shut up, eat your food, and don't tell people how to raise their kids. So Brooks is being super dramatic. She does not want to stay for the rest of the party, and she and her two friends leave. I was like, is it really that deep? You don't have to talk to Sara for the rest of the night, but to leave the party early? Like, you're that riled up? I just feel like Brooks is always searching for a moment, and it's just kind of falling flat to me. Now, let me just say, while I don't care too much for Stanbury or Sergio, money was definitely spent on this party because everything looked amazing. The food looked delicious. I said, now that's how you do it. So while everybody's eating dinner, we see Sergio and Caroline at one table, and then we see that their parents are at the table next to them. So Sergio says that they compromise, but he still would have preferred his parents to sit at the table with them. But I was thinking, I mean, at least they were right there, so it wasn't that bad. But like Caroline Stanbury said, she kind of prefers her friends over her parents. So she was not budging on her parents not sitting with them. So now we see everybody on the dance floor, and we can hear Caroline telling her friend that Ayan came as her. And it was so funny because her friend was trying to warn her, like, Caroline, remember, you're mic'd so they can hear whatever you're saying. And it was so funny because her friend telling her that used to be one of her former castmates on Ladies of London. And if I remember correctly, Juliet was very desperate to be in Caroline's good graces too. She was always sweating Caroline. She wanted to be Caroline's friend so badly. So of course, Stanbury just won't let it go. She goes over to Ayan and she says, you came as me. And it was like, girl, shut up. Get over it. It's nobody's fault that your dress didn't give what it was supposed to have gave, in the words of Rolling Ray. Like, step it up next time. Now, I didn't like how Stanbury was grabbing Ayan's arm either. I was like, sis, you're doing a bit too much now. Okay? Like, you've made your point. You think that she overdid it, but all that grabbing her arm, that wasn't needed. Now, meanwhile, we see Nina and her husband leaving early because she just received a weird text from her brother saying that her dad has been taken into the ICU and she's super stressed out, so she wants to go home. And then we flip back over to Ayan and Lisa sitting at the table, and Stanbury comes over to them and she brings up Ayan's outfit again. I'm like, girl, let it go. You were upstage at your own party. Just, okay, like, do better next time. I don't know what to tell you. You're gonna keep harping on it? So the scene ends with Caroline saying that she got her fairy tale and this night was very magical. So now we jump to the next scene with Nina and her husband, and they are looking at their brand new penthouse, and it's being renovated at the moment. Now, when I tell you I'm excited to see the finished product, because this penthouse is 18,000 square feet and 3 levels. I said, oh my gosh, that's going to be stunning. Nina, I'm not going to keep asking you, sis. Please let me know, does your husband have a brother, an uncle, somebody, okay? I will gladly go on over to Dubai. So while they're looking at the renovations, Nina's freaking out because she wants to move into her brand new home like yesterday. So the fact that they still have a ways to go on the renovations, she's kind of pissed about it. Now, Nina, I like you and all, but I felt like you were doing a bit too much because, girl, things take time. Also, nobody's crying for you, Argentina, over an 18,000 square foot home. Okay, sis? Definitely champagne problems. So now we flip to the next scene, and it is the day of Caroline Stanbury and Sergio's wedding. Now, mind you, they're both in their hotel room getting ready, and Sergio's asking Caroline if she plans on writing a speech. And she's like, the women don't give speeches, okay? Like, I'm not doing that. So while they're getting ready, we now see the wedding guests arrive, and we see Nina and her husband and Sarah arrive. Now, mind you, they're the only 2 in the group who came because Chanel Ayan, Lisa, and Caroline Brooks are all at Chanel Ayan's fashion show. But the fact that Caroline Brooks skipped out on Caroline Stanbury's wedding, that was a bit weird to me. Because you claim to be such good friends with her, so why would you skip out on her wedding? And I didn't think that you liked Ayan that much. You always say how much she annoys you. So the fact that you would skip out on a good friend's wedding to go to a fashion show of somebody that you can take or leave, that was really weird to me. If I were Stanbury, I would have felt the type of way at the fact that Caroline Brooks wasn't there. And it's so rude to do that because you know that they paid good money for each person's plate. And then Caroline Brooks saying that the reason why she skipped out on the wedding because she doesn't want to see Sarah and doesn't want there to be any drama. I mean, if you can't conduct yourself like an adult and be normal around somebody that you don't like at somebody else's special event, then there's something wrong. Sarah should not have you this pressed where you can't attend your friend's wedding. But anyhow, I digress. So anyhow, the ceremony starts and Caroline Stanbury's gown was gorgeous. Stunning. 10 out of 10. Sergio looked handsome. He was emotional. You can see that he really does love Stanbury. And it was sweet because Caroline said, Sergio's super religious and I compromised. I allowed him to have a very religious ceremony because that's what him and his mom wanted. Now, did anybody catch how we only saw 2 of Caroline's kids? I know that Caroline has twin boys and Yasmin, so I was surprised to only see one of the twins and Yasmin and not the other twin. Maybe the other one doesn't want to be filmed? Only thing I could think of, but I just thought that was interesting. So now we flip back again to Ayan, Lisa, and Brooks at the fashion show, and Brooks says that her and alcohol don't mix, and she actually feels bad for the way she was treating Sarah, and the fact that she disregarded how Nina was feeling because Nina's dad is in the hospital. And I was thinking, Brooks, it's not that hard. Pick up the phone, call them, and apologize. So now we flip back to Sergio and Caroline's wedding. It's now the reception, and Sarah leaves early because she says that she cut her foot. And I was like, girl, how'd you cut your foot? Did you take your heels off or something? Like, how did that happen? So now we see Sergio and Caroline have their first dance as husband and wife. And Caroline says that she feels so happy. She knows who she is now and how she feels a lot differently because with her first marriage, she was only 25 when she got married to her first husband. And she said that she was just so focused on pleasing him and making sure that he was okay. But now, since she knows who she is, it's not going to be like that. I said, I know that's right. So now it's time for the wedding speeches. It was really cute because Sergio's father gave a nice speech. And then we saw Caroline's daughter, Yasmin, give a beautiful speech. And it's just really nice to see that the kids really do accept Sergio and they really do love him as a stepfather. But I have to say, the wedding looked gorgeous and it was evident that some coins were spent. But I didn't forget the fact that Caroline is also a brand ambassador, so I wonder how much of this stuff was free too. I'm just saying. So now we see the next morning and Caroline Stanbury and Sergio are having a breakfast for their friends. So we see Juliet there, Caroline Stanbury's ex-sister-in-law is there, one of Caroline Stanbury's other friends is there, and then we have Ayan and Lisa show up. Now, Lisa brought a wedding gift, as she should. It's proper etiquette. But Ayan, as beautiful as she looked, did notice how she came empty-handed. I was like, Ayan, you don't have a wedding gift to bring? Like, really, sis? My mom was a model and an etiquette teacher, so certain things were drilled in my head. Like, when you go somewhere, you go to somebody's house, you bring them a hostess gift. If you're going to a wedding, bring a wedding gift. If you skip the wedding, like Ayan did, and you go to the wedding breakfast, come bearing some sort of wedding gift, okay? So now Ayan is asking about the wedding, how was it? And then she wants to know if Sergio was crying. So Stanbury says, yeah, he was crying a whole lot. And then Ayan makes a joke saying that, well, people cry for different reasons. He probably had gas and that's why he was crying. And I was thinking, Ayan, like, let's stop it. It's clear that he does love Stanbury and he probably was emotional. He's definitely the more affectionate and the more emotional one of the two. So I do believe that he was crying because he was happy to see his wife walk down the aisle. So now Ayan brings up the engagement party and how she was talking to a doctor who happens to be from the same village that she's from. So now the whole topic of IVF comes up and they're all asking Caroline and Sergio questions about having another child. Stanbury says that she's going to go through with IVF and now her ex-sister-in-law is asking her if that's safe for her because she's had some very rough pregnancies. So Caroline says despite her having hard pregnancies, she did get the go-ahead from her doctor to try again. And I'm thinking, that is no joke. And I just think that in this regard, they are unevenly yoked because Sergio's being very insensitive and very immature. You know that you have married a woman who is 18 years older than you are, who, you know, her window for having another child is rapidly closing. And knowing her history with her other pregnancies, why would you want her to put herself at risk like that? When they all brought up the idea of Caroline having a surrogate to carry the baby, and Sergio was acting so confused, it's like, you're a grown man. You're what, 28, 29? Stop playing dumb. Why are you so hell-bent on Caroline carrying, knowing the risks that it could pose for her? I was really pissed about that. And I was in full agreement with Lisa when she was like, it's very unfair of Sergio to put this kind of pressure on Caroline. But she got me with that shade when she was like, I mean, they're not even here for the kids that they have now. So why do they want to throw another kid in the mix of their busy lives? I was like, ooh. I was like, go ahead, Lisa, and tell all the tea then. I'm convinced that they're doing this for a storyline because you can't tell me that Caroline Stanbury is trying for another kid. I don't believe it. And I think that Sergio is not in a rush to have a kid either. I think that he's doing this to play this up because he wants to be on this show and he wants his wife to be on this show as well. They both know that they're low-key boring and need to bring some sort of drama to this show. So now we jump to the last scene of this episode and we see Brooks at home with her mom. We learn that Caroline Brooks' mom comes to visit Dubai about twice a year. And we also learn that Brooks' mom is from Honduras. So now Brooks brings up the dinner that she had a few days ago with Sara and her two friends from Boston. So she's telling the whole entire story of what happened and how she went off on everybody. Baby, the way I was here for Caroline's mom, she was like, girl, you know that's not right. You can't keep fighting people like this. You owe all of them an apology. I said, come through, Mom. I said, come through and tell your daughter that she's wrong because the way she went off on them was unacceptable. She needs to learn how to speak to people. It's okay if you feel upset about something, but it's the way you communicate that. She was throwing a tantrum like a damn toddler. So Caroline's mom says, well, you know, you left home at a young age and you married Adam's father young and then you moved out here. And now we learned that there was some manipulation and some abuse in her marriage and Brooks is very emotional just talking about it. So now Brooks goes on to say that people don't understand the struggle that she went through and the reason why she's so strict with her son is because she wants to prevent him from making the mistakes that she went through. Then she goes on to say that she fought for her baby and how she left her divorce with nothing and how she can't wait to start telling people about the abuse that she endured. So that's where the episode ends. And let me just say this. I definitely felt bad for Brooks. You can tell that she went through a lot in her marriage and she's still dealing with what happened. And I hope that she does find healing, but she cannot take her anger out on other people and lash out the way she does. That's not fair to everybody else. And I was happy that her mom said, it's time for you to heal. So now we open up episode 9 with Ayan and Sarah meeting up for dinner. Now, Ayan, I love the outfit, very dramatic, honey, giving us a look. But the wig, I just need for Ayan's wigs to match the fabulosity of her outfits. Because the outfit will be a 10, and then the wig will sort of like miss the mark. But I would be lying if I didn't say that sometimes I feel like Ayan's outfits kind of give costumey, like she's trying a bit too hard to create a moment. Like it doesn't feel super effortless. Does that make sense? And Ayan, sometimes the boasting can be a bit much because when you said in your confessional how you're always going to walk into the room and look better than everybody, I'm like, but sis, when you really are that girl and you know that, you don't have to say it. Because I sometimes wonder, how high is your confidence if you have to always talk about how good you look? Because when you know that you look good, you know, you just feel it. Everybody can feel it and sense it. You don't have to say it. But just my opinion. So anyhow, they sit down to talk, and of course, the drama between Caroline Brooks and Sara gets brought up. Sara says that she hasn't seen Brooks since the whole incident at Caroline's engagement party and how she does not hold a grudge against her. So now Ayan interjects and she starts making jokes about how Brooks is like the Judas to her Jesus, like they're friends but they're also enemies. And me personally, I don't think that frenemies and having somebody that doesn't really like me in my circle, like I don't do that. I don't play with that frenemy stuff. You're on some weird type of time. You know, you kind of like me, but you don't like me, but you're competing with me. I don't play that. So now Ayan says, well, Sara, I have to be honest. You are a bit preachy at times and a bit judgmental. We want to know who the real Sara is. Like, we want to get to know you. So Sara says, well, okay, let me tell you a story about when I was 14, one of my aunts got divorced, and she was pretty much left with nothing. And I vowed to myself that I would never let that happen to me. Then she says that when she was 15, she started her own business. And when she was 26, 27, she got married to her first husband. and she was the breadwinner. Then she goes on to say how she felt unworthy of good relationships and good friends, and feeling like that led her to do some soul searching and healing. And that's why she's so preachy now, because she wants other people to learn from her mistakes. So Ayan pleads with Sara to stop being so judgy, do it in a way that does not come off as judgmental. And then Sara says in her confessional that people who are living in darkness are bothered by the light in her. And I'm like, Sara, I need you to take accountability for something, because while I like you, you are a bit preachy and it is annoying. Like, you don't always have to act like you have everything all together 24/7. I understand that you want to help people. I understand that your heart is in the right place. But when you act like you know best about everything, that is grating. And take what Ayan is saying and apply it. Nobody's saying that you're a bad person. Nobody's saying that you're evil. But they are saying, shut up sometimes and stop always inserting your opinion. Now we jump to this next scene, and it's Caroline Brooks meeting up for lunch with her ex-husband. And when I tell you that I have some choice words for her ex-husband, because he tried it. They sit down, they're making small talk. She's asking him how he's doing. He's asking her how she's doing. He pays her a compliment, tells her that she looks pretty. And so Brooks then brings up their son and how he's been complaining of being bullied, and he doesn't like school, and he feels like he doesn't have that many friends. And she wants to know if their son has expressed these feelings to him. So he says that Adam hasn't expressed any of this to him. And now we learn about how Brooks and her ex-husband met. She says that they met when she was an intern in New York. And so, he sweet-talked her, swept her off her feet, and they got married, and she moved to Dubai. She goes on to say that they were married for 7.5 years, and while they were married, he was a very angry and miserable person, and he took his anger out on her a lot. Then she says that she knew that she had to leave because no matter how long she stayed, how much she tried to be a good wife to him, that he wasn't going to change. So now they start discussing Caroline's spa. Remember that her ex-husband is going to be building the spa, and her ex-boyfriend is investing in the spa.
Bling, bling, bling. Bitches is mad.
And we also learned that her ex-husband is one of Dubai's top developers. So here's where the conversation gets good. Caroline tells him that he seems a lot calmer, and then she wants to know, why wasn't he this calm person when they were married? She says, I was a great wife to you, and yet you were still so angry. So he has the nerve to tell her that she was no saint or Mother Teresa. And when he said that, I was really annoyed, because I was like, you treated this woman so poorly. I can only imagine what you were saying and doing to her, okay, behind closed doors. And for you to not want to take any accountability for your actions for 7.5 years is ridiculous, and it's pathetic. And I'm sure if she was screaming or yelling or cursing at you, it was justified because you probably made her life a living hell. So now he goes on to say that he's at peace now, he's changed, and how when they were married, he was in a difficult period of his life. I said, you were in a bad period for the whole 7.5 years while you guys were married? That's a poor excuse to me. So he finally gives her the weakest apology, and Caroline says that it's closure hearing him finally apologize and own up to what he did. Now, me personally, that apology would not have sufficed. I would have needed to hear a stronger apology than that. Just saying that you weren't mentally there and you were upset and you were going through a difficult time, that's not going to do it for me. I'm going to need a bit more than that. So the scene ends with Brooks saying that she appreciates the apology and how she sees a major change in him. And did anybody think it was weird when he said no comment? I was like, what's that about? Why are you saying no comment? She's paying you a compliment. I was thinking, I don't know what she saw in him besides the money, because no. He can't even express himself properly. Now we jump to the next scene and we see Ayan, Sara, and Nina, and they are going shopping. I think they kept calling it a souk. I don't know if I said that right. Let me know down in the comments. Feel free to correct me. But they kept saying souk, so I guess that means shopping? Let me know. It was so funny because they were all dressed so differently. You have Nina looking casual, Sarah's in this faux fur, and you have Ayan in this ball gown. And they were looking at her like, girl, we're trying to do some bargaining when we go to these stores, and you look rich. Like, why are you in this gown and we're trying to bargain shop? So they all go into this jewelry store and they're all looking at these really gorgeous gold pieces. Now I was screaming because Nina and Sarah were looking at these like bracelets and they were trying to bargain the price down. But Sarah actually succeeded because the piece that she got, it was originally $1,000 and she got it for $250. So they finished jewelry shopping and then Ayan lets them know that she wants them all to come with her to an Ethiopian lunch, and she's also invited Brooks. So Sarah says, that's fine, but I'm not going to talk to Brooks unless it's a sober Brooks, because all that yelling she was doing the other day, I wasn't here for it. So now they get to the Ethiopian restaurant, and Brooks is asking Nina how her dad's doing. Nina says that he's better, he's back at home, but he's still on oxygen. So now they talk about how life is short, and how the things that they argue about are very trivial. I was glad to hear that Nina's dad is doing a lot better. I can only imagine how she feels. It's very anxiety-inducing and stressful to deal with a sick parent. So I was just happy to hear that her dad is doing a lot better. So now we see Brooks arrive to the restaurant. She's greeting everybody. Of course, it's a bit awkward between her and Sarah because they just had this blowout fight a few days ago. But now they sit down and Ayan wants everybody to order their food. Now, a quick side note. You guys know I am a huge foodie. I'm always talking about the food in these episodes. But I have never had Ethiopian food. I'm dying to try it. And when Ayan was ordering, my mouth was watering. So they finish ordering and now Brooks takes it upon herself to address the elephant in the room. And so she's like, last time we were together at Caroline Stanbury's engagement party, things went all the way left between me and Sarah. So Brooks goes on to say how she feels like her parenthood was judged and how Sarah crossed boundaries that she should have never crossed. So of course, Brooks brings up the whole affectionate statement and Sarah's like, once again, I never said that. I just said that you need to be closer to him. So you already know it's about to go left. Like, they're about to start arguing because Brooks is getting heated, she's raising her voice, and Sarah is getting irritated because Brooks keeps repeating the same thing. She sounds like a broken record. Now, Sarah says, look, you keep mixing up what I said. I didn't say that. It seems like you have selective amnesia. So now they're going back and forth, and now Nina and Ayan are trying to get them to stop. So Brooke starts screaming out that she does not need Sarah's therapy and she will never take Sarah's advice. So at this point, Sarah's over it. She leaves out the door and then you have Nina chasing behind her. Sarah's like, I'm done. She's sitting here mocking me, saying that I'm not a real doctor. You know, she has no class. She just wants to fight with me. She doesn't want to solve anything. I'm done. And I don't blame her because I would have gotten up and left too. I'm not going to keep going back and forth with you. Especially if you want to curse at me and talk to me any old kind of way. I'm not dealing with that. Because if I stay in this argument, now I'm going to really take it to another level. Because I've told you guys, if you want to go low with me, I'm going to take it to hell. Honestly, in this scene, I felt like Brooks wanted to fight. I don't think that she really wanted to resolve anything with Sarah. Because Sarah was saying, I wasn't judging you. That wasn't my intention. You took what I said out of context. Like, I'm not trying to fight with you. And when you have somebody who's just like, well, I don't care, you know, cursing and screaming and yelling, it's evident that they don't really want peace. So Sarah has left. Nina goes back inside the restaurant and she's trying to talk some sense into Brooks. And now Brooks catches an attitude with Nina. So child, Nina's so angry, she leaves the restaurant. And I don't blame her because when I'm angry, I no longer have an appetite, so I would have said shout out to everybody, I have fun as well.
Oh!
Shout out to everybody. I had fun.
I gotta be good.
So now it's just Ayan and Brooks, and mind you, the waitress has come out with all the food. So it's this whole platter of food and only the two of them there. So now Brooks is angry and she decides that she does not want to eat the food and she leaves, and now it's only Ayan in the restaurant by herself eating that huge platter of food. And if I were Ayan, I would have been pissed because now all this food might go to waste because everybody left me here. So now we move to the next scene, and it's Lisa at a dance studio with a choreographer, and we learn that she's having a dance lesson for all the ladies because she's going to be throwing a dance hall party in the coming days. So we see Nina show up first, and she's telling Lisa about the drama that went down the other day when she, Sarah, Brooks, and Ayan were out at the Ethiopian restaurant. So Lisa says, look, I don't care what's going on in this group. Everybody better show up today with a good attitude, ready to dance. Like, I don't want to deal with any of the drama. And I don't blame her. It gets tiring when everybody's arguing with the same thing day in and day out. Like, at some point, y'all gotta just rest and just shut up and put a smile on. Now we see the rest of the ladies arrive, and Sarah says that today she's gonna pretend like Brooks is not even in the room. Now, Ayan, you knew that you were going to a dance lesson, so why would you show up in this outfit? She had this super long skirt on. I was like, that's not really gonna work if you're learning choreo. Now, when I tell you, when this dance lesson started, I said nobody has any rhythm in this group except for Lisa. I mean, Ayan.
No.
The rhythm missed her. Like nothing. Offbeat. And that's an understatement. Ayan, when you were saying that you feel like you're Beyonce and Rihanna's baby, I'm like, girl, where? Not with those moves. Not with that lack of rhythm. So now the dance lesson is over and everybody leaves, and we see Caroline Brooks and Sarah off to the side, and they're discussing their beef. So Brooks says, look, Sarah, everything just feels so heavy, and I don't want to go back and forth with you any longer. Like, I'm sorry. She apologizes for being so nasty to Sarah, the way she was talking to her and lashing out. And then she says that she was hypersensitive because her son is all she has. Now, Caroline, when you said that, your son is all you have, I was thinking, then why are you so quick to want to send him off to a boarding school? But I was happy that Caroline Brooks did apologize for her behavior and her lashing out and acknowledging that she does have to address people in a better way. So Sarah accepts Brooks' apology, and she says that she's a listening ear if Brooks ever wants to talk about anything. And then she says that she's willing to make this friendship work. I said, thank God, because I could not go another episode, another minute, another day hearing about this feud between Sara and Caroline Brooks. So I'm glad that they have put it to bed and they're back to being friends again. And Sarah, let this be a lesson. No more unsolicited advice. So now we get to the last scene of the episode, and it's the night of Lisa's dance hall party. And it was so funny because everybody dressed up in costume, and you had Sarah show up with an afro. I was like, okay, Sarah. And Lisa was like, before anybody starts hollering about cultural appropriation, it's not. Leave her alone. I was here for the afro, so don't y'all start. Lisa said, y'all are not going to sit up here and harass us, okay? We're just trying to get secured for a second season. So we see a dance battle go on between the ladies. And when I tell you, Ayan looks so silly out there. I mean, Ayan can't dance at all. And it was so funny because even her husband was like, yeah, I mean, she has a lot of energy, but she can't dance. I was like, Ayan, enough. Like, please, it's really enough. And then even Lisa was shading Ayan, like, I love my friend and all, but she was giving Big Bird on that dance floor. And then when they played the side-by-side clip of Lisa calling her Big Bird and then Ayan dancing so crazy like that, I said Ayan might not be a great dancer, but at least the outfit was cute. And I was also screaming when Brooks was like, I mean, I thought that God gave every black woman the ability to dance, but when it comes to Ayan, I mean, there's no rhythm. Now, Brooks surprised me because when she got low and started whining, I was like, oh, okay. I didn't think that Brooks could dance, but she definitely did a little something. I was here for it. Now we see Lisa giving everybody an award. And so she had an award for the best wine, and Brooks won that. Then there was an award for like the MVP. I think Nina won that. Then there was another award for person most likely to never dance again. Caroline Stanbury won that. And then the award for best energy, Ayan won that. Can we quickly talk about how disheveled Caroline Stanbury's wig was? I mean, that wig was turned every which way. I said, girl, you are good and drunk. She was like, yeah, you know, I'm 3 vodkas in. But that's where episode 9 ends. And I have to say, these 2 episodes were cute. I'm looking forward to this reunion, though. I know that we only have a couple episodes left. And yeah, I mean, Dubai so far is a cute season. The drama is a bit light, but it's a cute season nonetheless. But y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed the double recap. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.